Jimin reveals heavy pressure to be an idol. Jungkook gives support secretly. Amid the glitter of the K-pop world that looks perfect on the surface, BTS's Jimin has finally revealed the most fragile side of his life as an idol. In a surprising live broadcast, Jimin spoke in a low voice, but full of sincerity, about the heavy pressure he had endured. No make-up, no script, and no forced smile. Jimin chose to be honest. "There are days when I wonder if I'm still good enough for all this. Am I worth it?" he said, lowering his head, wiping away the tears that had fallen uncontrollably. This recognition instantly hit the ARMY around the world. Many did not expect that behind the bright smile and warm energy he always displays, there are so many invisible burdens that he has carried all this time alone. Jimin admitted that the burden of expectations, pressure to continue to be perfect, and demands from the industry made him feel suffocated. No less interesting, however, was Jungkook's silence, which turned out to be not an absence, but another form of support. Despite not appearing on that live broadcast, fans began to notice that Jungkook had left a small digital footprint, like Jimin's post, the lyrics of the song he uploaded on Weverse, and even his brief appearance at the HYB building the next day. A HYB staffer, who declined to be named, divulged that Jungkook secretly broke into the rehearsal studio after Jimin finished the broadcast. He didn't say much, just said, "I'm here if he needs me." Then he sat in the corner of the room and waited. "Long time," said the source. Some ARMY even claimed to have seen Jungkook leave the HYB building late at night, wearing a black hoodie and mask, as if trying to hide his identity. "He doesn't want attention," one fan wrote. "But from his way of being present without words, we know that he cares." Very caring. Jimin has not responded directly to Jungkook's whereabouts that night, but the next day, he posted a photo of the night sky with a short caption, "Even in the dark, there is someone who is light." The public is also speculating, is the sentence intended for Jungkook? Netizens were busy discussing the possibility that Jungkook was always the place to return to Jimin when things felt too heavy. "They have their own language, which we may never fully understand," wrote one viral comment. After Jimin's emotional broadcast that rocked cyberspace, it didn't take long for fan cameras to start capturing unusual signs from the HYB building. Some soldiers who are used to reading the movements of BTS members noticed that someone entered from the back door of HYB's studio around 1:23 in the morning. His posture is high, his step is fast but hesitant, and the black hoodie that covered his face only reinforced the conjecture. It was Jungkook. Not many people know, but according to information from an internal staff member, Jungkook did ask permission personally to access the studio that night. Not for training, not for the record, but to wait. Waiting for someone who is broken. 2 hours later, Jim came. Same silence, just as weak. They didn't exchange a word when they first met, but eyewitnesses say that Jimin immediately approached and hugged Jungkook with a long hug, without a sound. Only the breath was held and the body shivered softly. He didn't say anything at first, just standing there like he's making sure he's not alone, said one source from HYB's security team that night on duty. But as soon as they sat down together, suddenly everything was like liquid. They chatted, slow, full of pauses, but very deep. That conversation, which was not captured on camera, not uploaded to social media, became a turning point that only the two of them understood. Jim told me about his fear, about how he felt left behind, about the pressure to continue to look perfect, even though he wants to be tired every now and then, and Jungkook, as usual, didn't ask much. He listened. And when Jimin finished speaking, Jungkook just answered with a simple sentence, which fans later cited as the key to their recovery. "If you stop, I'll stop. But if you walk again, I'll be by your side." The remark, according to insiders, left Jimin silent for a long time before he finally burst into tears again, not from pain, but from relief. For the first time in months, he felt truly heard. The next morning, Jungkook uploaded a photo of a pair of old running shoes on his story with the caption, "Even if your legs are tired, I can be your step." Jimin didn't reply directly, but the ARMY knew. Because a few minutes later, Jimin posted a cloud and star emoji, icons that they often use since the era of promise and still with you. Hashtags like hashtag we love you Jimin and hashtag thank you Jungkook instantly became trending around the world. But for both, the evening was not about popularity. It's not about viral content. It was about the courage to rediscover each other in silence. Many say that their relationship cannot be defined simply by the word friend or group mate. They have gone through too much to only be referred to as two idols in one team. Behind all the speculation, one thing seems clear. Jimin and Jungkook have a space that only they understand. A quiet place where they can go home whenever the world gets too noisy. That night, they both went home to each other. The days after Jimin and Jungkook's secret meeting at HYB's studio seem quiet on the surface. However, for observant fans, each upload, expression, and small steps both hold clues that something is changing slowly, but deeply. Jimin, who was previously barely active on social media and rarely appeared in public, began to show signs of life. He did not directly make a live broadcast or an official interview. However, one story upload with a gloomy afternoon sky background and short captions, "Life goes on, even if we had time to stop," became a signal that his heart began to recover. Shortly after, he replaced the profile photo of his Weverse account with an image of a sunrise in the mountains, an icon that he often wears when he is in the process of rediscovering his zest for life. On the other hand, Jungkook remained faithful to being in the shadows. He does not openly express support, but the gesture, like choosing a light blue hoodie when live, Jimin's favorite color, to sing the chorus of the song, Promise spontaneously during a live streaming rehearsal, it's enough to be a statement. I'm staying here for you. And the most surprising thing was when the HYB staff began to divulge that the studio space where they were meeting was now again actively used by only 2 people. According to internal information, Jimin and Jungkook are often seen spending time together recording sound pieces, writing lyrics, even experimenting with new instruments they've never used before. Although none of these activities were officially announced, fans began to suspect that the two were preparing something. One of the sources mentioned that this project is not just a duet song, rather, it is a kind of musical letter that records their emotional journey of recent months. Not to cry, but to heal, the source said. This news also raises the theory that they are preparing a collaborative work titled Selah, a word taken from the Hebrew that means pause to reflect. This word was also written by Jimin on a small piece of paper attached to the studio board in one of their rehearsal video footage in the past. As if to confirm all these speculations without a word, Jungkook on August 2nd evening posted one still photo, a Polaroid camera dusty on the table, and next to it a handwritten note, "We can go back to recording when we're ready. Now let's live first." Shortly after, Jimin left a comment on the post, "Thank you for not telling me to hurry." For many ARMY, this moment feels like an indirect statement that their project isn't just about music. It's about healing, recognition, and an emotional bond that goes deeper than just idol routines. And the public is increasingly convinced that their story is not just a temporary phase. It's not a management gimmick. This is a new chapter of 2 best friends who wait for each other, listen to each other, and sustain each other in the relentless industrial storm. Currently, there is no official statement from HYB. But the fans don't feel they need it. Because behind all the rumors, clues, and small interactions that the camera highlights, one thing is clear. When Jimin felt most alone, Jungkook stayed. Discreet, but always present. And maybe, in a world of noise and expectation, that's the most honest form of love, one that doesn't need to be announced, just felt.